Hey there, VCE HHD students. My name's Annie. I'm a VC Health and Human Development teacher. In this short video, we're looking at 100 days until the HHD exam. What can I be doing to be prepared for it? This is relevant to Unit 3 and 4 HHD course for the 2025 plus HHD study design. Before we dive into this video, there's a number of ways to engage with the Health Resources Hub if you're not already. If you're on YouTube at the moment, you can subscribe with the button in the bottom corner of the video there to our YouTube channel, and that means you'll get alerts to all of our new videos as they come out across the year. Also got our website, thehih.net.au, and that's had a bit of a refresh lately. So if you haven't checked it out recently, please head there. It should be easier now to navigate for all of our opportunities that are available for teachers and students coming up. Also got our Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook pages where you can follow us and get alerts to our new videos and other opportunities, and also our email info@thehih.net.au. If you're on our social media pages, please also check out our LinkedIn. That has all of our current opportunities for teachers and students that are happening soon. Okay, so depending on when you are watching this video, there's either 100 days or less until the HHD exam this year in 2025. And so lots of students think 100 days, that seems like a long time until the exam. But in my experience and what students have shared with me, that 100 days slips away quite quickly. So it's something to start thinking about sooner rather than later. So as you can see here, I have mentioned that starting to prepare early for the exam is particularly useful for students that are keen to do really well and achieve their best possible study score in HHD. And definitely future you will be grateful if you start preparing early, because that means you'll be less likely to be cramming and feeling as stressed as the exam approaches. So I'm going to share a couple of tips with you in this video here on things that I think are particularly useful that you can start doing now as you get ready for that exam that's not that far away. So the first thing there is to familiarize yourself with the exam format. So this year in 2025, there has been some changes to the format of the exam, and that's because there's a revised study design or an updated study design this year. And so earlier in the year, the VCEEA released new exam specifications that details there is now going to be a section A and a section B in the exam, and the exam is now going to be out of 90 marks, not out of 100 marks like in previous years. So as it mentions there, section A will consist of short answer and extended answer questions, including questions with multiple parts. That just means A, B, C, etc. And section A will be worth a total of 80 marks. Now, typically, the highest mark allocation for a question in section A is around 6 marks. But then you'll see section B will consist of one extended response question and will not have multiple parts. And section B will be worth a total of 10 marks. So one 10-mark question. So you'll see there that section A and section B will obviously add up then to that 90-mark total for the exam. So it's good to be familiar with the format of the exam, because that obviously will be informing how you go about preparing and completing practice papers for the exam. So that leads into this next set of information here. So it mentions there that hopefully your notes for all of Unit 3 have been completed. Maybe over the recent holiday break, you got to finish those off, okay, and make sure that they were all done so you can be preparing, okay, for Unit 3 by conducting some Unit 3 trial exams. If you haven't finished those Unit 3 notes, I definitely recommend that you try to do those as soon as possible so you can use, okay, those notes to revise and then start completing some Unit 3 trial exams and getting some feedback on your responses. You might have been doing that, as I said, across the recent holiday break. What I would be doing as you are completing trial exams, whether this be Unit 3 or Unit 3-4 trial exams, is as you're marking those trial exams, I'd be trying to think of your notes as live documents. So as you mark a trial exam, if you see perhaps a description, okay, or a link to a concept that you think is better than any of the examples you've got in your notes or that you haven't seen before, think of your notes as live documents and be updating those as you go and complete trial exams. So using those and the assessment guides and the feedback that you're getting from your teachers as a way of sort of refining your notes and sort of perfecting those as you head towards the exam. And once again, obviously, the earlier you start doing this in the lead up to the exam, the more opportunities you'll get, okay, to come across these different perhaps descriptions or examples or links that you can then update in your own notes. I've also mentioned there, try not to avoid the parts of the course that you don't like or you find most difficult. Often students think, oh, I don't really like the Ottawa Charter, so I'm going to avoid questions that are related to that because I don't like doing them and I don't really know how to do them well. I always recommend to students you should spend more time, okay, on the parts of the course that you don't like or find more difficult, because that means that as you're completing those questions, you're likely to be improving instead of just completing questions over and over again that you know you can do well and that you really enjoy. Okay, you're probably not learning much by doing that. It's the parts of the course that are more difficult and you find more challenging. Doing questions related to those are more likely to lead to improvements in your responses and your overall exam mark. I've also mentioned there it can be worth considering hearing from someone other than your teacher if there are potentially parts of the course, okay, that you're finding difficult to get your head around, as sometimes alternative explanations of a concept can help make them click. And so, in saying that, I am running a number of exam revision sessions in the lead up to the HHD exam this year. So, students from across Victoria can attend any of these sessions because they're all running online. If you sign up at book.acevc.com, you get sent a set of notes in the post and you'll get a link to join the session. You'll also be able to bundle, you can see there, the revision questions book that I have worked on with ACE that's got over 500 marks worth of practice questions to help you prepare for the exam this year, as well as a whole chapter on extended response questions, which is relevant to section B in the exam. You can bundle that together with a revision lecture ticket and you'll get that in the post also. There's also other subjects apart from just HHD that are available at book.acevc.com: psychology, biology, English, methods, PE. Okay, if you head there, you'll see the full range of subjects available. So in this session, I'll be going over not only HHD content that sometimes students find challenging, I'll be looking at section A and section B, exam advice and strategies. And so you can see there the dates for those sessions coming up. Okay, so another thing to think about, okay, with 100 days until the HHD exam is that you're most likely around 3/4 of the way through the course. So that means that for most trial exam papers, you should be able to complete around 3/4 of those and get feedback on your responses. Students often want to know how many trial exams or past papers should I be doing in the lead up to the exam, and there's no real magic number of trial exams that will lead to a certain study score. However, I would say that the more questions you have completed, the more likely you are to come across similar questions in the exam. And so if you've completed something in your trial exams that's similar, hopefully that means you'll feel more confident in answering that in the exam. Now, unfortunately, in 2025, because it is the first year of the revised study design and they have changed the format of the exam, there's only the VCAST sample exam, which you can download on the VCEA website as an official HHD VCEA paper that does exactly mirror the new format of the exam. That's not to say you can't complete, okay, other VCEA HHD exams from previous years, but keep in mind that they're out of 100, not 90, and they don't exactly mirror, okay, the new exam format. And plus, there'll be some content in those that won't be relevant anymore because there has been a few changes to the course for the 2025 plus study design. So make sure you touch base with your teacher about that. There are, however, lots of company exams like the ACE ones. I've worked on a couple of trial exams this year for ACE that schools often purchase as additional practice opportunities for students in the lead up to the exam. So you'll need to speak to your teachers about getting access to these kind of practice papers, as they can be really useful, obviously, to complete in the lead up to the exam, especially under time conditions, so you can know sort of your pacing and that kind of pressure that you might be feeling in the actual exam. If you are after another practice paper in this revision questions book, there is a full practice paper with sample answers as well that I've worked on for students that's different to those other exams that I was just mentioning before. And so, as I said, you can head to book.acevc.com to order a copy of that. And hopefully you have found this video useful. Thanks so much.